humans, and welcome to episode 24 of Chef Mike Does Stuff. I, of course, am Chef Mike Harris. It says so right here on my chef coat, so it's gotta be true. Today, very exciting stuff for no other reason than, of course, they sent me a cool swag bag full of awesome stuff. I'm going to try to make a pie with Butterfingers. Now, here's the deal. Most peanut butter pies usually have some kind of graham cracker crust and are usually kind of like that creamy cheesecakey. Well, I don't want that. We're using a regular flaky pie crust, and we're gonna make more of a like kind of traditional drier kind of pie. What I'm actually doing is taking a recipe you've seen on Chef Mike Does Stuff. It's the maple bacon pie that I made, which is a knockoff of shoe fly pie, a real old school kind of pie. And I'm gonna replace bacon and maple with peanut butter and Butterfingers. I've never made this before. It might not turn out how I want. And I actually saw somebody tagged me in something on Twitter where somebody said like, oh, anybody making food content or chef stuff, they are, if they mess up, they fix it and make it look great. And yes, if you're on the Food Network, if you're on a TV show where you're trying to teach and do something like that, totally, they do that all the time. Like, I'm making a thing and in the oven is the finished item. I'm not doing that. I'm actually making this for the first time. I'm recording it in order. I'm only making one. So if something goes bad, if I drop it on the floor, if for whatever reason, and even in my last video, I burnt the heck out of the crispy leeks that were going to be on the green bean casserole, and I'm still enraged by it, but that's okay. So we're going to try this recipe. Hopefully it turns out. And we're back. Something was going on with my phone, and instead of re-recording everything I just said, I'm just going to edit this little part in. I don't know if somebody called and there was a bunch of numbers on it that just said 0. I don't know what that was all about. Then I tried to re-record and the camera stopped. I don't know. So we're going to get to the cutting board. We're going to make an awesome Butterfinger pie, and hopefully the camera holds up and it's going to be delicious. It might be horrible. I don't know. But let's get to the cutting board. Let's get to the cutting board. Did I even say it right that third time? Let's get to the cutting board. We are ready to make this amazing pie. So, first thing is, if you watch the maple bacon pie episode, I use a store-bought pie crust, which I'm doing today. However, while I was at the store, they make something called a deep dish pie crust, which looks like maybe a quarter to a half inch taller. Instead of taking the old recipe, like I said, I'm ripping off the old recipe. Instead of taking that, removing ingredients and adding Butterfinger to it and the peanut butter and all that, I'm just going to take that recipe and add more stuff to it to hopefully fill up the pie crust, and it's going to be delicious. So if you are at the store and you could find a deep dish pie crust, that is what this recipe is rocking with. So first of all, oven is at 450 degrees. And I have 3/4 cup of water and 1.5 cups of milk on the stove getting ready to boil. So the fire's on. I may burn it, so I'm going to pay attention if you hear my voice like I'm turning and looking at it just to make sure. So first thing we're going to do is make the crumbly streusel topping that we're going to fold in a whole bunch of Butterfinger into. So in this bowl, I have 1.5 cups of flour. I am going to add a 1/2 cup of light brown sugar. Get out of my bowl, please. Then I am going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Just like that. And back with a vengeance is the worst pastry cutter that I've ever bought. It's the one I got new because I didn't have one for the last video. This is a piece of junk. It might break. I don't know. I can't even get through my brown sugar with this thing. That's amazing. There we go. Ooh. Okay. So butter's not going to stand a chance, or this is not going to stand a chance against that ice cold butter. But first thing I'm going to do, cut all this up and mix it all together nice and even. I'm going to cut in butter So as we talked about before, depending on how the butter is incorporated into things, you get a different result. If you look at like an American style biscuits, like Southern style biscuits, you cut fat into it and it's kind of crumbly, which is sort of what we're going for. If you were to fold the butter in like lots of sheets, like a laminated dough, which is a croissant, you'd get that flaky kind of texture. If you had these frozen flaky little pieces of fat in here, the texture would be different than if you had frozen little circle balls of butter in here. It's just a little bit different. Now, you may be a super taster or amazing and can tell the difference. Some people can't. What are you going to do? That is evenly mixed. I am going to go in my fridge and get the cold butter. What I should do, and I'm going to do now, which I could have prepped ahead of time, but why would I do that? You know how much effort I put into these videos. I like making these videos. I'm just lying. I'm going to pre-cut this a little bit just because it's really cold. And because my pastry cutter is a piece of junk. Now, somebody, an expert baker out there would be like, you shouldn't be touching the butter. You're warming it up. You should use a metal bowl that you put in the freezer. Yes, all of these things are true, but I'm not cooking for that person. I am trying to teach people who have no skills whatsoever or are uncomfortable in the kitchen how they can do it. So this is 1 stick of butter, which is a 1/4 pound, which is a 1/2 cup. All right, now everyone, let's have a moment here and let's pray to the pastry cutter gods that it's already warped, that I don't break this while cutting it in. That's not too bad. All right. It was a very good thing that I cut the butter ahead of time, or it would have been a disaster. Luckily, with the butter being really, really cold, it helps get through it. If it was warm, it'd be like smearing, and we don't want that. We're going to cut this in until it's like wet sand. That's what we're going for. I'm going to check my milk and water. All right. It's not boiling all over my stove, so that's awesome. Oh, shout out to Chef Andy Lanique, who sent me the most awesomest apron ever with a collaboration with Filthy Casual and Chefworks. Totally awesome. Greatest apron I own. I usually don't wear aprons because I'm an R&D chef and I don't have to go out into the public and see. So I'm kind of lazy that way. But depending on what the rules are in the kitchen, if I was working in a restaurant, I probably would. But I digress. Andy, you the man. Thank you so much for your present. And this is looking pretty good. Even if you have a little bit, kind of like bigger chunks of butter in there, that's okay. We're not looking to make this super perfect because it doesn't need to be. We're cooking for friends and family. We ain't getting that Michelin star for our Butterfinger. Oh, and there goes my cream, and it's boiling over. Of course it is. Let me see how much. I'll have to pour a little more in. Well, that's... Hold on 1 second. Should I cut? Maybe I'll cut this out? No. That looks like... that much. So all I'm doing, see, already messed it up. I am estimating how much milk boiled over, and I added that back to the pot. That's what I just did. So, which this actually leads into a perfect change of what we got to do or whatever. I am going to take 12 fun-size Butterfinger. That's like a 1/2 pound or whatever. Just get 12 of those. You see, I got this rolling pin here. Now, what I recommend, so that it breaks up real nice, put it in a big, in a pretty heavy-duty Ziploc bag. My wife downstairs is probably going to freak out, but we want this crumbled as much as possible. Putting it in the freezer helps that chocolate not stick together. It helps everything crumble and shatter real nice. There'll be less smeared on your bag. And yeah, just overall, just do it that way. The Butterfinger has been crumbled and I feel so much better. So now, we're back to here. I am going to pour this whole thing. Oh yeah, that's a lot of Butterfinger. One of the things I was thinking about doing, and like I said, I've never made this recipe before, was I was going to keep a little bit of the streusel topping without Butterfinger in it. And I was going to sprinkle that over the top before it goes in the oven, like the top layer, to protect the streuselness, you know, from burning, or there'll be chocolate on the top. But I forgot to do that. That's okay. So we're going to see how it turns out. And if it's all burnt and stuff on the top, then we know next time to make the perfect pie, you're going to want to retain a little bit of that. Okay. So we got this. This is ready to rock. I'm going to set that aside. What do I got to do now? Peanut butter. I have 3/4 cup of peanut butter. Give me 5 seconds to heat the little bit of milk I added to this back up. I'm going to put that in the sink. I'm going to wipe my hands. I'm going to take this bag here and I'm going to throw it out. I'm going to do all this while watching my milk. And you're just looking at a bowl of peanut butter. Super exciting. But I'm just going to whisk in my water and my milk. I believe I said 3/4 cup of water, 1.5 cups of milk. I'm going to get my pie crust out. Kroger brand. I don't know if I should even show that, but deep dish pie crust. I could make it. I've done it before. I just don't feel like it right now. Off to the side of the camera, putting the pie crust on a pan so that when that bakes over, I don't destroy my oven. Okay, this is almost done. You're also going to need 1 teaspoon of baking soda, so get that ready for yourself as well. All right, this looks good. Now here's a concern of mine. I don't know how the filling is going to, texture-wise, what it's going to taste like, the texture. I know nothing of that. The shoe fly pie recipe and the maple bacon use a very liquidy kind of bottom to it, just like this. This liquid should be kind of hydrating our streuselness. My concern here, and I'm going to whisk in my baking soda, just like that. My concern is going to be that the texture on the inside of this is not going to be very good, but we will see. There's milk right there. All right, here we go. That looks like way too much filling. Okay. Yeah, I'm only going to add maybe half of this. I made this deep dish pie shell isn't as deep as I thought. So, whatever you just made, you're going to do half of that for a deep dish pie shell. And now, I'm going to take all this delicious Butterfinger streusel topping. And just like the maple bacon pie, just like a shoe fly pie, I'm going to sprinkle this all over the top. And yes, it is going to kind of mound up over the top. I am hoping all this liquid hydrates a good portion of the bottom here. When you get the maple bacon let's try that one more time. Maple bacon pie or the shoe fly pie, there's like a little kind of creamy layer that is delicious. So that's kind of what I am going to rock with. Let's see here. Does that look good? I'm going to add just a little tiny bit more. But the reason why I want to do this is because I want a peanut buttery, crispity, crunchy pie that is not just like creamy in the middle, like cream cheese or cheesecake. And that's what we're doing. So, I'm going to put this in the oven for 400, at 450 degrees for about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'm going to turn it down to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I will cook it for probably about 20 more minutes. And we are going to pray to the Butterfinger gods that this is going to turn out like how I want. While this is cooking, if you need to pause it, go ahead and crumble up yourself some more Butterfinger just by itself. And I bought a can of that whipped cream. You could go ahead and make it. I don't know if you want. I'll talk about it in a little bit. But I'm going to throw this in the oven and get all that stuff ready because that's what we're going to put in next. I'm just putting a little bit right there. Okay, bye. All right. Our Butterfinger pie looks awesome. Top looks exactly like how I thought, like Butterfinger. There's so much Butterfinger in it. I let this sit for about an hour. It's still warm. Probably should let it sit longer, but I ain't got that kind of time, and I need to eat me some Butterfinger pie. So how I would serve it, as long as it's awesome in the middle, but we'll see. Like I said, I've never made this recipe this way. We are going to see how it turns out. Hopefully it's scrumptious. If it isn't, I will tell you what I would do different, actually, because that's what R&D is all about. So far, so good. Okay. Now, what I sometimes will do, because I have a feeling this part is going to fall off. And if it does, oh well. Your next piece will be better. Come on. Did I get it? Did I get it? Nope. Nope. Sometimes I just cut right through the little metal part. This is the longest cutting and removing of a pie you've probably ever seen. Come on. I believe in you. Come out, piece of pie. Yes. 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 A little bit of that. I missed a little bit of that. But that's delicious and flaky. Okay. Oh, yeah. So what I would do. Boom. A little bit of that whipped cream. And I got me some cold, fresh Butterfinger from the freezer. Just put a little extra on a plate. You think people aren't going to eat it? You think they won't appreciate extra Butterfinger on the plate? You're wrong. They're going to love it. Okay. Oh, please be delicious. I am going to fix this camera. Let's tilt. You're going to see my big head. Ah! Look at, I got my part of my awesome swag from the wonderful folks at Butterfinger. Okay. Now, let's see here. As you can see, what I expected, you got a little... Oh, I think I might have done it. There's like a little layer of kind of that creamy butter, peanut butterness in there. A whole bunch of that streusel topping. Lots of Butterfinger, little whipped cream on top. It's still a little warm, so it'll probably be even better when it cools down. I don't know if you could see that. All right, that's solid. It's like a little bit crumbly peanut butter. I will tell you this. I'm assuming if I was to make this again, I would add maybe a 1/4 cup of sugar to the peanut butter, milk, and water portion. I already know because I just tasted it, and that's probably what I would do. But here we go. I don't know if you can hear. You hear that? That's crispity crunchity right there. Here it is. Here we go. I mean, you don't really need, if you put the little whipped cream, the little bit of extra Butterfinger on the top, oh man. Okay. Why I think this is bonfire Butterfinger pie is because, like I said, I do love all those like cream cheesy kind of peanut butter pies. That's usually what it is. This still has the crispity, crunchy, peanut buttery texture you get from Butterfinger, which is why I love it, because there's so much in here. You still get that like crunch, the kind of like the softish bite of a Butterfinger. I don't know how else to describe it. It's still very much in here. This isn't overly sweet of a pie. Like I said, if you like your pies super sweet, then go ahead and add that 1/4 cup of sugar to the peanut butter, milk, and water. But with whipped cream and crumbled Butterfinger over the top, this is pretty darn good. Finally! I only boiled some milk and cream, or milk and water over all over my stove, which I just finished cleaning up, so. That is real good. I love the texture. All right. I'm not just going to sit here and you're not just going to watch me eat. I keep looking at the wrong side. I don't know why I do that, because that's the stop and start button when the camera's actually over here. Whatever. But thank you again to my friends at Butterfinger for sending me the awesome stuff. I actually bought this myself just because I love Butterfinger. But the hat, the cool Nerf gun, I got a water bottle, I got some full-size Butterfinger bars. Thank you so much. Also, everyone out there who's missed my videos, and I started back up last week and I'm doing another one this week, thank you so much for following. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, tag your friends, let everybody know that Chef Mike Does Stuff exists, because I love making these videos and your feedback makes me so happy. If you are a brand, or if you make equipment, or if you have ingredients that you would like me to feature in a Chef Mike Does Stuff video, like, I don't know, Butterfinger just did, and so many people are gonna go out and buy Butterfingers now, you can email me at chefmikedoesstuff@gmail.com. But most importantly, subscribe to the YouTube page, because you are not gonna wanna miss when Chef Mike does stuff. Okay, bye! I'm gonna eat more pie! Bye, pie! Classic pie gag. That is delightful. It's sweet, but not overly sweet. It's more Butterfingery than peanut buttery, if that makes more sense. It tastes very much Butterfingery. Yeah!